Hey everyone, thank you for coming back to Marketing Sun Fridays on FreshSuperCool.com. My name is Tae Woo. Today I have a very special treat. Today we have Jeremy Shoemaker. He needs no introduction, but let me give you a little quick introduction. He is known on the web more famously as ShoeMoney. He has a website, ShoeMoney.com. He's an entrepreneur. He started at NextPimp.com. He's a founder, president of ShoeMoney Media. He's actually the guy that's really popular on the web for that check. I don't know if you guys seen that $132,000 check. It's a big AdSense check that he's got. He also won the Influence Project from the Fast Company. I forget what year. Jeremy, do you remember what year that was?
I think it was 2010.
Yeah, he was most influential person of the year. He is needs no introduction, but Jeremy, why don't you tell the world who you are, what you do, and all that good stuff?
Yep. So again, my name is Jeremy Shoemaker, and I kind of like people say they tripped over a rock and fell into this, and I actually fell out of. I always say I kind of fell out of the back of a dump truck and fell into this because my original story, I was 420 pounds and smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day and was like horrible credit card debt, and but I had a fun site which converted, long story short, converted ringtones. Like, you uploaded any sort of audio and it would make a ringtone and spit it back to you in the correct format for your phone. And it was a very busy site. One day Google calls me, says, we think you'd make money with Google AdSense with this site. And so I implemented the code, and then, a couple months later, you see the famous AdSense check. Which, if you haven't, just Google AdSense check, and you'll see me holding up a AdSense check. So that was kind of like how I started and that was, I started that site in 2003, but that about 2005 is when that happened. And then from there, I really like kept evolving, and I call it kind of the Coke theory, where, and I didn't really plan this. I mean, a lot of people have business plans and all that stuff. Haven't ever really been much of a planner. I just always try to make stuff that I want, which that's a
Mm.
perfect example, and then open it up to the world to use. And as you followed, like, so like my blog is chronicled all this, and the blog is over 10 years old, and it's about 3,000 posts on there, and a lot of it is just like, hey, I learned how to do affiliate marketing, and it was really like, as I was born into the industry, and it was like, wow, this is pretty cool, I can do this. And that was in like 2006. And then, I was like, oh, I have all this traffic for data cables. Why don't I sell that? For ringtones, but people need a data cable because you couldn't do over the air back then, and still can't really. And so it was like, oh, I'll just sell these serial cables, USB cables. I bought them for a nickel and sold them for $30. And
Mm.
that's quite a profit margin. Then paid somebody to ship them. And the Coke theory really is like, if you have Coke, then you can easily make Diet Coke, right? But nobody else can make Diet Coke. And so, like, that's the thing. I had all this traffic for in the mobile space, so then I could easily. I mean, that's 99% of it. And then it was just like, what else could I do? I could make a subscription part, which offered premium support and charge $20 every 6 months. I could take donations, to help support the site. I could do, and I just learned how to do all this stuff. Became much better at contextual advertising, whether it was with Yahoo or the other stuff, and continued to evolve that. And then once I got into pay-per-click heavy, because I was seeing all these people search for ringtones in real time, I had all the misspellings, all of everything, where people were buying keyword lists or doing research. I mean, I had the data like instantly. So, that led me into pay-per-click. And now I'm like being an affiliate for what people were advertising on my site, and that led to me like saying, hey, like, why don't I just make an AdSense looking banner, but with my own code, right?
Mm.
Because unlike with AdSense, where they won't let you say certain things, I can say whatever I want, right? So I created this thing for my own, and I had such good success with it that I opened it up. I called it ShoeMoney Ads, and it was a free thing. If you wanted to use it, it got like, I mean, within a month it had 1,000 users. And then I was at a conference, and it was 5 in the morning, and I was hammered with some people from eBay who were affiliate managers there, and they said, you should build one around just eBay because we have a ton of people using it for eBay stuff. So a company called Auction Ads was born.
Mm.
Started, you kind of see like, again, I just made something for me and then offered it to other people and it evolved. And so made Auction Ads with a partner, and within 4 months it was up to 2 million a month in revenue. Long story short, and I sold it for a good amount to a venture capital firm out of New York City. And it's kind of been my motto. Then I made a company called ShoeMoney Tools, which again was just pay-per-click SEO tools, ones that I use myself, and
Mm.
then made them available. It was a subscription-based site. And then from there, I took some of those tools out of there and built like a separate company called Free SEO Report, which was kind of like took some of the key SEO tools. Again, something I wanted. It was really cool because what it did is, and I believe it's still up, the company that bought it. A lot of times when people buy your companies, they whatever with them. It's not, whatever. So,
Mm.
anyway, it would give you a really cool report, which would show you not really like a typical SEO report, like, hey, you should use a title tag and stuff, but instead, like, I'm a big person that believes in like real quantified data. Like,
Mm.
I don't want like, so anyway, what this did is it would take your site and the keywords that you're trying to rank for. It would run a report. You could choose the search engine you wanted to check, and it would take your site versus all of the top 10 that are ranking for your keyword, but we would do the research on them and show where all their links were coming from, what they were doing in title, image tags, all this stuff versus what you're doing, and then make suggestions, based on that. Like, you might want to put it in these directories, you might want to do this, you might want to do that. And, the revenue model was really like we broke even on the front side because we paid affiliates 100%, but we made money on the back side because we would sell advertising to SEO companies. We would do this, and then of course one SEO company didn't want. They just wanted to buy the whole thing because it was bringing in 300 to 500 leads a day of people who wanted SEO advice, right? So for a company like that, just to get free leads of people who want SEO, it was invaluable. And so another company I sold, and then I've just kind of proceeded, and now I have a company called the PAR program, which is an enterprise level email marketing platform. And again, it's just something that I always wanted. I'm really, I have many years of experience selling through email, and now we do it for pretty large companies. I mean, some of our clients are, we have a like a $6 billion company in the financial space. We have, the largest, well, the third largest tobacco company in the world, and it goes on and on. So we're servicing like, because I always felt like there's all these blogger platforms like
Mm.
iContact, Aweber, and stuff like that, which are great for people just starting out. But a lot of people use them like for legit multi-million-dollar businesses, and they are like, my emails don't get delivered or this. And I was like, gosh, I really want to make a platform that the platform does. It's an amazing platform, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm just talking about like my evolution, and that's where I'm at today. So I
Wow.
still have the blog. Still, I can't help but make a product now and then. Still, I can't help but do affiliate stuff. It's just a hobby, and I find it fun. But yeah, my core focus is on that.
Wow. So, like, I read your story, and it's actually, I remember, I think this was a talk you did at, I think maybe SES or something like that,
Uh huh.
about your story of that girl that didn't give you a chance. Can you remind the audience what that story was about?
Yeah, the story really, it was a keynote talk, and I'd never given a keynote. I've always been on a panel to give tips on talk about affiliate or Facebook advertising or any of this other stuff. And so
Yeah.
a keynote is more of a general. I don't want to say inspirational, but it's definitely a different ball game.
Hmm.
So my yeah, on that keynote, I watched a lot of other keynotes and got it, and a lot of them is you want to tell a story right throughout the keynote,
Hmm.
but the story then leads to the point you're trying to make, and then you come back to the story. So the main gist of that story was about a girl. When I like totally adored her, but I was fat, overweight, and I was in the friend zone. And all I did was just like try to win her affection. And I bought her this dog, and she traded it for a bag of weed, which was discouraging. But I just absolutely adored her, and it got on to like now. in the present time, and this is an absolute true story. She calls me, it's 20 years later, and wants to know how to make money online because now she's overweight and she's got 5 kids by 3 different people, and so yeah, I wrote about something one time, and it was a girl I ran into from high school who was super hot in high school, and and she said, "What happened to you? You were like this huge troublemaker in high school and like about voted number 1 to never do anything with your life, and now you're who you are." And I said, I met this girl who gave me a lot of confidence, and after I got fired from my last job, and really told me, just was like, because I thought the AdSense thing was going to end any day. I was like, all right, the jig's going to be up soon. They're going to realize that they made a mistake. They can't be paying me this much, and really lacked confidence in myself to have my own company at that time. And so I said, she really was like totally, inspirational to me, and really that was a big pivot point for me. And she was like, wow. And she was like, so what, do you get contacted by girls from high school all the time? And I'm like, yeah, and she's like, I'm like, but guys too, and she's like, what do you tell the girls? Did they like hit on you and stuff? And I'm like, I don't know. It's more flirty and whatever. And she's like, what do you tell them? And I'm like, you should have gave Fatty a piece. I don't know. So, but yeah, that was kind of the gist of my talk, was just about, how she called me and wanted to know how this worked. And then I would actually go into it, and then I'd go back to her with her new question and go into it. I thought the talk was pretty good. I mean, I was nervous because there was so many people. I mean, there was 5,000 people at that conference. But I wasn't nervous on stage because I'd rehearsed so much and I was so prepared, which I'm normally, when I get on panels, even for this call, I know, you talked with some people here about what you want to talk about, but I never like prepare for stuff like this because it's what I do, it's what I live, but that was out of my element, so it was well received, but it's definitely different to do a keynote than to, talk about how to make money online or something like that.
Right. Well, definitely, man. Success, greatest revenge, huh?
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you got it with affiliate marketing, right? I mean, I still remember that check that you were holding up. A lot of people crop it for their thing, that big check for like $500,000, and your arms are over it, but some people crop it, and there's like the shadows missing. And
yep. So I was working with a company at that time called the Zoogle Ads, which is no longer in business, ironically. But with what affiliate network isn't, still going, or is back from those days. But so at that time I was absolutely killing it. And that was from the same site that I did the ringtone stuff. I'm doing pay-per-click, whatever, and they had ringtone offers. So I'm just crushing it, and I'm doing like, those figures, that I think that 500 grand was over a 2-month period. And so they said, like, we want to feature you in a magazine. So, go out to someplace nice, like put a nice shirt on and just hold your arms out, and we're going to Photoshop in the check.
Right.
Oh, okay. So they paid me like, it was a lot. It was like 50 grand to do it. And then they put it in like a lot of magazines, a lot of industry magazines. I forget the name of it right now, but Lisa Piccarelli was the editor in chief for it, and I forget what, it's no longer in existence. But they put, they put that everywhere, and I was like their poster child, and because I that was a legit, it was an even number, but that was legit like what I was doing back then. I mean, that was magical back then. Yeah. So that's a funny check, and you'll see it on Failblog and Photoshop Disasters because it's I had the full, like, they only posted the image from like the check up, but like it's so funny because when you look at it on, I mean, just if you look at just Google like Photoshop, ShoeMoney or something like that, and you'll see it's funny because like all of a sudden somebody will be like, oh, this site's making fun of you, look at it, and I'm like, I get destroyed with traffic whenever those come up. So it's funny. And I mean, on my site it says like this was a Photoshop thing for this advertising thing. But don't let facts get in the way of a good story. It's a funny picture.
That's a great picture. I see it everywhere. I see people using it everywhere too. It's hilarious.
Yeah. It's funny. I mean, it's funny.
So are you still doing affiliate marketing at all?
Oh yeah, we do. I do it in a different way, much different than the way I did before. I don't do. Um, it's I do a lot of funnel stuff. I discovered this in the dating industry,
Mm,
where instead of directly sending people to an affiliate offer, instead I would send them to my site, which was like Anna's dating tips, whatever it was, and it would be
right.
like I'm going to show you the ways to do this, and it would have a higher opt-in rate than the dating site I was kicking them to.